What is up, Machinima Realm, and I welcome you guys to a new episode of Top 5 LoL Plays. I'm sure the plays chosen for this week will be to your liking, but going straight to the number 5 spot is gonna be a duo queue pair that just constantly seems to be defying death. As they're strolling around together having a good time in the enemy jungle, they seem to find 4 people: the Malphite, LeBlanc, Soraka, and the Evelynn. And so begins their escape. As the Thresh saves the Ezreal once with his lantern, he gets a beautiful hook onto the LeBlanc, potentially saving what would have been a dead Ezreal. As they split up for a brief moment, the Evelynn pops her ultimate onto the Ezreal as LeBlanc fails her W. But once again, the Thresh does save Ezreal with his lantern. But the enemy team is still trying to follow up and trying to get kills, but they seem to slowly back off, with the Malphite being very dedicated, attempts to do another turret dive, but the Thresh with beautiful zoning and flays saves the Ezreal and they escape what seemed to be sure death. The number 4 spot is going to be a turnaround play in the top lane as Lee Sin. So far this top lane seems very passive as both champions are just minding their own, farming the CS. But just then the Zed makes his move as Evelynn comes in from behind. They try to put as much damage, the Zed popping his death mark as the Lee Sin safeguards to a minion. As he finally gets under his turret, he kicks the Evelynn right through the Zed, getting the Zed extremely low, follows up with a resonating strike onto him, picking up a kill, and walks away slowly as he watches the Evelynn die to the minions, picking up a very nice turnaround double kill. As we jump to the 3rd place spot, we're going to be looking at Rengar in the top lane being extremely Rambo. This Rengar seems to be quite ahead of the enemy team, however this clip is not going to be a mere 1 versus 1. Just as he finishes whacking away at the 3rd top turret, the Lee Sin escapes from the Rengar knowing that he cannot fight him 1 versus 1. The Rengar, really showing his dominance in this top lane, is beginning to attack the inhibitor, but the Blitzcrank comes in, fails the hook, thinking that the Rengar was going to go more aggressive on the Lee Sin. But as the Lee Sin escapes, the Blitzcrank pops the exhaust onto the Rengar, trying to prevent any damage he can. This Rengar is obviously being quite a nuisance in the top lane, so more assistance is required, and this is where the Gragas and the Shen come in. By the way, that Shen's level is a glitch in the replay. The Rengar gets a very quick double kill and he pops his ultimate, just barely escaping death, dodging the Gragas Q and running southwards. The Shen so far is seeming to guess correctly, but just as the Rengar comes out of his ultimate, his allies are there, the Thresh throws in the lantern and he escapes while making a very strong impact in the top lane. Let us not take a break just yet and go straight to the number 2 spot where another Lee Sin play is going to be showcased. This time it is going to be in the bottom lane as the Lee Sin closes the distance to get closer to his allies faster because the enemy double buff Amumu looks pretty strong. As the Amumu pops his ultimate, the Lee Sin kicks him right through his allies, follows up with the second part of his Q and gets an amazing triple kill. And finally, going to the number 1 spot in the grand finale of this episode is going to be a Vayne play in the top lane. This Vayne player is going to be showcasing to us exactly what it means to kite as an ADC. It begins with him popping his ultimate, flashing over the wall and absolutely demolishing the enemy Caitlyn. But the enemy Braum and the Rumble are coming in to try and put a stop to this menacing Vayne. The Braum player seems to be doing a pretty good job of tanking, but he ends up reviving, all thanks to his GA, but reinforcements come in as the Rumble pops his Onyx and the Cho'Gath comes in. The Vayne continues with the kiting, getting the kill onto the Braum finally after he comes back from GA, and after a very intense fight, the Cho'Gath decides to back off knowing that the Vayne will probably outplay him as well. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the plays that were in store for this week of Top 5 LoL Plays. If you did enjoy it, definitely throw in a like down below, and I hope to see you for the next episode. Peace!